gets to drive the 13 mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Jr., driver of the number 5 Tiger Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tiffany Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Let's Talk Racing this evening. We got myself, Roger, Matt, and Steven hanging out tonight so we can talk about racing. Go figure. You know, that's a good thing we're doing that. There's a lot of it. Yep, we're going to have Robert Richardson Jr. is going to be coming on here with us tonight. Brian Morehouse to keep us updated with what's going on in NASCAR. And then we're going to have very much a legend, Tiger Tom Pistone. You guys have heard of him, right?
Yeah.
Come on now.
You haven't?
No.
We went over this last time I was here.
Serious? You don't know who Tiger Tom Pistone?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Nope.
we're gonna have some fun tonight.
So, some of the breaking news tonight. We have Jeremy Mayfield back in the spotlight again.
Wait, I just had it too. Hold on.
We gotta find it.
Jeremy doing the drug bust, and I think rumor has it was like 50 guns.
I don't know about the guns.
I
never
don't
heard
know
about
about
the
that.
guns,
I mean, it's not what it said. Hold on. Oh, go back. Come on.
Technology and him aren't getting along very well.
Matt and technology has a problem.
Yeah, I have a big problem with technology. Let me tell you. Let me go down here and see if we can find it again.
Kevin and Rusty and Steve's,
Russ
Wallace.
passed away. The patriarch of the family had been racing for years in Missouri and around that area. So sorry to hear that. Send our condolences to everybody. He will be sorely missed.
What is sort of cute is that Faith has actually met and talked with him out of Richmond a few times.
What are you doing?
Suspended NASCAR driver Jerry Mayfield, who was suing NASCAR over a failed drug test, was arrested on felony charge of possession of methamphetamine Tuesday after being found with 1.5 grams of what is believed to be the drug at his home, according to a arrest report. They were at his house executing a search warrant for stolen property. Upon search of the property, a small amount of methamphetamine, or what is believed to be methamphetamine, was seized, and he was charged with felony possession of methamphetamine. He was also charged with possession and intent to sell marijuana, and was released on $3,000 unsecured bond, and has a court date scheduled for Wednesday morning. Mayfield was found in possession of stolen goods, according to the investigators, and the district attorney's office will be determining whether to charge him.
That's multiple charges.
Among the possessions at Mayfield's home were items from Red Bull Racing, as well as the state of North Carolina and 2 other local businesses.
Ooh.
So, with that being said,
A race team.
there might be a little bit something more to it.
Yeah. Sort of sounds like.
that's a little bit a while back for being Red Bull stuff.
He never ran with Red Bull.
Yeah, he did.
When was that?
Jeremy was involved with Red Bull. How else is he going to get it?
He was involved with Red Bull. Didn't he drive for Red Bull for a
Yeah,
while?
he did a while back.
Yeah, before he got suspended. No, well before, a year before he got suspended. Because he drove his own team or tried to get his own team going there for a while. So,
Been the year I was in boot camp.
and it does say Catawba County officials confiscated more than 40 firearms from Mayfield's home and are attempting to determine if any have been reported stolen.
If the firearms were stolen?
Yeah.
They are trying to determine whether or not they were.
What, Red Bull keeping arms at their place too or something?
No, this was at Mayfield's home.
I'm just saying, where in the world is he getting all this stuff from, you know?
Why they took the guns, if he...
It's kind of against, or not against, but it's a whole separate thing.
I mean, if they're legally his, I mean...
Is there a rule against having too many guns?
Well, FBI and those guys
certain types of guns, I can understand that. But I don't know about too many.
I mean, if you're a collector, you can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be a...
Yeah, I know plenty of people that have
Depends on the state. Depends on the state.
I don't think there's any rule on how many you can own as long as
I know people
they're legal.
here that have pretty much an armory and nobody.
Oh yeah, I know one house right now.
They go by and they're all theirs.
I wouldn't want to walk into their house and unannounced. Put it that way.
You're going to be target practice.
It's going to be more than target practice.
You're going to be dinner.
Yeah, you're going to be toast. So, other than that, I don't see much else on here. Nobody else is really talking about anything.
Well, did everybody have a good time at Martinsville?
Of course.
Martinsville was a great time.
I loved it. And I will say the other three that were with me absolutely loved it too. And that was their first time for any race, so other than Langley.
Did you ask him how it was to be a virgin again?
No.
I always do that with everybody. It always goes, duh. Always gives them a good phased out look on their face. What do I say to this?
Martinsville is a great facility. It's a great place to watch a race.
Mm-hmm.
It is very fan friendly, except for when it rains, parking.
Ooh, yeah. If you're on that hill,
and that's and I wish there was something that they could do.
Other than pave it, I don't know what they can do.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do anyway.
Yeah,
it's like trying to pave Daytona, okay? Some of it's even worse.
I think they have to work on that a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Still a great race, great place. Can't complain too much.
Yeah, great place to see a race. It really is.
I almost wish I had gotten up with Timothy and had him call in, but I think I told him like maybe the week after. That way, find out everything that had happened toward the end of the race there.
As far as what?
You didn't watch the end of the race when 31, which was Busher, slammed into the back end
that
of
one.
Mark Martin, who slammed in the back end of Brandon Gaughan, who slammed
I was
in the
thinking
back
cup
end.
race. I didn't think trucks.
Timothy Peters. Well, you weren't there. I mean, jeez.
You could see it all. They had it on TV too.
Yeah.
They weren't happy with each other. The way they were
No. I was standing there with Timmy. I said, Tim, you know what? You got a lot of good airtime out of this one. He said, what? He said, you had a lot of finger shaking going on. He goes, oh my God. I said, no, it was a good thing. They were talking good about you.
Timothy got into it with his... They got into a little tussle on the track, didn't they, with his teammate? Mikhail?
I don't think so. I don't remember for sure, but I couldn't see all of it, you remember?
The only teammates that really showed or focused on was Todd Bodine and Max Pappas.
Oh, Pappas?
Yeah.
Oh, and Max was not a happy guy either.
No, he was not.
Oh my God, you should have heard that boy cussing in a foreign language. You didn't have to get an interpretation for that stuff.
No, you knew that was... And
that's one of those times I wish I had a video camera going on.
Busher and Todd Bodine got into it and turned him, and when Max Pappas came up and was applauding him, and
A start on
Yeah,
pit
that
road.
was. I thought that was good. Max
I thought that
Pappas,
was sweet.
After he got turned
started long
around.
before that. They were going on and sitting
Oh,
each
yeah.
other, and then Todd Bodine hit him on pit road, and then after that is when he spun him.
I heard a few comments talking about Todd's sight was in question.
Something about looking further than beyond the nose of the car.
Yeah, there was a few comments made.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, it was rather interesting, I should say. But
Yeah, but I still think Max Pappas coming up, pulling up beside him, and
Clapping.
putting his hands out and clapping
After
at
he got
him.
spun out by
That
another
was
driver.
hilarious.
that was quite funny. So,
I mean,
Buscher hit.
Brendan Gaughan.
No,
Or, no,
hit
it-
Timothy Peters.
afterwards. Yeah,
And I don't think that was intentional.
I think he was looking this way. and
When he turned Todd, he was watching Todd go around. And,
getting the satisfaction that he wanted, and ended up hitting Peters, who was stopped.
yeah.
Oops.
Sorry,
Timothy, we know you're much better than that.
So, but it was Martinsville. That's all. Enough said.
Yeah,
It was Martinsville.
Both
Brian
races,
Vickers.
too. Both races.
Yeah, both races.
the Cup race.
Vickers was.
He had a rough race. When you
He
had
caused a lot of it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because
He did.
because Brian is a good driver. I mean, they're all this
They're all
is
good
Sprinter.
drivers. They
Overly
made it to this
aggressive.
level, they've
Great
gotta be good They got to be good
But
drivers.
he had one of those days.
When he
Nothing
ran out
seemed
of
to go
talent.
right.
He
Yeah.
ran out of talent more than once.
A lot of them
Five
ran out of
cautions.
talent.
And it actually started with not Eric Amarola, Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah.
Marcus got together, and then it
They were
just kind of
talking about that on
snowballed.
the radio. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I think his teammate. They were talking about taking him out because of that. Of hitting Ambrose. They're discussing on the radio. You go take him out.
That's
The
what's so
funny
fun when you're
thing,
there and have scanners, you can hear
Oh, yeah.
all the hoopla going on.
the funny
I'm gonna
thing
take his
was,
blood out.
and I agreed with what Matt Kenseth said. He said he just kept blocking. He wouldn't give us the line. He was several laps down, and he kept chopping him. I got thinking back earlier before this, and you know where I'm going with this. Tony Stewart was getting ready to go a lap down,
Yeah, he was blocking the hell.
and Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth were there trying to get around him. He didn't really block. If they stuck their
ran him
nose
hard
in,
on the outside.
he ran them hard.
He kept it tight, and he didn't give him any room.
He gave them enough room that they could have got
enough
by.
room to get in there, but he did not chop down. He just simply, just like he did on the last couple of laps.
Yeah.
Just ran on the
hard,
outside and pulled away and got back out.
So and I'm sitting here looking at the difference, and I'm sure Jeff Gordon was getting a little frustrated just
Oh, I'm
because he couldn't get
sure.
around it.
Yeah.
So
Same with Denny. When they caught him both times, I don't know why he was just kind of taking his time. As soon as they caught him, he hit another gear and took off.
yeah,
And just kind of.
So with Vickers really blocking. Oh yeah, Vickers was really blocking.
And Kenseth didn't like that
No, and Kenseth didn't like it, and
at all.
no, and I don't blame him. That can get very frustrating to try to get around somebody and you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You give him several chances.
you give him the chance.
He gave him more than 2 or 3 chances. Just let him know, hey, I'm here. I want to get by. And was that even for position? I'm not.
No, that was the big thing. Vickers was several laps down.
he was
and,
still in the
and,
way and wouldn't
yeah, I would
move
he
over.
would not get out of the way.
I couldn't remember if that was or not. His car was already beat up pretty good. It just wouldn't move.
The thing that and this was brought up, and actually Tony Stewart brought this up too. Nothing happened afterwards. It was all taken care of on the track.
Yeah.
And Tony Stewart said it, and everybody else has said it. Bring a portable boxing ring and instead of taking it out on the track,
in the ring.
let these guys give them big, huge boxing gloves and let them go at it hockey style in a boxing ring afterwards.
I agree.
Instead
for
of
it.
tearing up the cars, and what he said was right. Jamie McMurray lost a car. Kevin Harvick probably lost a car. James Buscher lost a car or a truck. They said, but he wasn't worried about it because they're not going to use it till next year. So, is it right that these drivers do this, or should it be,
say go for it.
boys have at it, but have at it in the pits. What's the right thing to call?
I say go for it, race hard, and if you're going to be dumb enough to make somebody that mad, then you pay the price.
How did I do that?
I don't know what you did.
I don't know what I did either. But I can go down here and do this.
That's my theory, or my idea on it. I've always liked that kind of thing. Just let them. They shouldn't escalate. There are a few times I've seen it get out of hand as far as he bumped me and then the other guy wrecks him. There's a difference. You bump him back, but don't just straight up plow him into the wall. But even shots. If somebody takes you out,
but look what Jamie McMurray did. Jamie McMurray tried taking him out and took out the front end of his car.
The car was kind of already shot.
Well,
I've never seen one shorten that much before.
But he could have, he could have made it back in. He could have made it back into the race with the rear end damage.
Yeah, I say it was.
It was, and then once he took off and the batteries all came loose and dropped out, it was pretty much done after that. And I thought it was kind of funny. And they played it on the TV that, hey, I lost all my, I've got no voltage. And the guy says, well, your batteries are laying on the backstretch.
It's probably why you lost your voltage.
That's probably why you lost. So,
It was 2 batteries.
It was both batteries. I seen a crew member walking by, and a crew member got hurt.
Yes, Travis Quaffle.
Was it one of Travis's?
The 38. Or Gillen. Was it Gillen or Quaffle? I thought it was Quaffle's. I know it was a 38 car. They always swap around.
Well, we can ask Brian.
Yeah.
When he gets on.
I heard in the middle of the race that they were taken to the hospital, but
Yeah, I saw the ambulance come out one time, was pulled up
Yeah.
behind the cleaning machine. I was trying to figure out what the heck was behind the cleaning machine for.
yeah,
Did they open up the gates and let him out?
I didn't see it.
The ambulance, or they just took him to the infield care center?
I just took them
Because they had him on the golf cart ambulance.
unless they flew him out and
That's
went
one
under
thing
the
I have
tunnel
yet
or
to
something.
figure out. The whole time we were out there, where was the infield care center?
Right there in front of me.
Right over in the corner on one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was. You could see it, medical center.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't see it down on the ground. Everything's in front of it, all the crash carts. And
Yeah, it's
everything else.
right where they parked the stand, the Victory Lane. Right next to it.
Ah,
Yeah.
I have to remember that next time.
They never opened the gate, so I don't. If they went to the hospital, I don't know how they got them there. Unless they walked through the tunnel and flew them in a helicopter. I didn't see that either.
Well, no, if he was well enough,
Yeah, he
and whether
could've
he
walked
went to the
underneath.
yeah, he could have walked underneath, but
Yeah. Somebody said on the scanner they were taking him to the hospital for precautionary. But
they probably did then. But when I saw him, he was on a backboard. They had him all that.
oh, okay.
So
They
they
probably did.
Yeah.
they probably would have walked him underneath
Yeah.
or carried
See,
him.
it wasn't that bad.
Let's talk racing.
Get to work, would you?
Hey, our buddy Robert, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fine. How are y'all?
Good. How's things down in Texas?
It's a little cool and cloudy and windy today. It looks like it might rain here in a little bit. I'm not sure.
Better than the heat from the summer.
yeah, much. Oh, that's for sure.
Okay,
Pick your poison. You want the heat or the cold? Come on now.
yeah, we've gone from one extreme to the next. We didn't get no cool down
80
time. I
degrees
don't
to 30
think.
degrees.
Yeah. All right, I got to ask you this because I seen it on Facebook, and I'm going to join this rebellion here.
Facebook.
But what's this no shave November?
Well, man, for the past couple of years, a lot of people have been doing it, I guess, kind of to represent, prostate cancer and things like that. Last month was, breast cancer awareness month. So a lot of, guys now have no shave November. So it's kind of, supporting prostate cancer and things like that.
Okay, well, I have not shaved since November 1st, so I'm in.
I'm not allowed to, otherwise I would.
Military frowns on it when you do that stuff.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Yeah.
How's your dad doing?
What's going with you guys?
What?
Run it by again, Robert. I talked over you.
I was just asking how things were going with y'all. I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks.
Good, good. Went to Martinsville, had a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Other than that, Martinsville was the only thing we did, the charity event. We should have got Robert up here. You should have flew up for that. We had a great time on that.
That was a
Crash
blast.
Fest.
It wasn't that bad actually.
Yeah, we got third, and Matt got fourth.
Still rubbing that in.
We're going to keep giving him a hard time about that.
I got black flagged for something I didn't do.
Well, his team actually got black flagged twice, so somebody had to do something wrong at least.
We all say. Do that? Why are they black flagging me?
Well, and I did. I didn't know until afterwards, and I finally figured out what was going on. I got shoved into another guy, literally, and the guy that shoved me admitted that he did it. And I turned another guy because I got shoved from behind, and they just black flagged me.
They saw the end result with your bumper being the one leaving it.
Yeah, so that's all right.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, boy, and I know who did it, and yep. Paybacks are a son of a gun. That's all I got to say.
So what's new happening in your world?
Oh, just working during the week and racing on the weekends when I can. We're ready for the Texas race this weekend, so it's been a pretty busy week, for the past couple of days, just kind of preparing for this weekend.
Got all your stuff moved over there to the track?
Oh yeah. We at least for our camping site, and everything like that. But I believe the haulers, get in the morning, and we'll unload all the cars and go through technical inspection and things like that tomorrow. But regular practice and qualifying and everything starts on Friday, and then we'll race Saturday afternoon.
Now, living in Texas, and then you seem to always, of course, you have to fly to everywhere you're going to be racing at. How does it feel actually one weekend out of the season that you don't have to?
Nice. I mean, it's kind of like a homecoming, all my family and friends and, are going to be out there this weekend and sitting in the stands and cheering me on. And it's good to see a lot of people that, I normally don't get to hang out with or see on a regular basis and, just have a good time. Texas and Daytona and Talladega are the only racetracks that I can really kick back and relax and enjoy myself and enjoy the weekend. Whereas most of the races that we go to, it's a little more uptight and emotions run high at all the other races. But I can really be at ease at those racetracks that we go to.
Cool.
And you like them a lot. You're kind of a super speedway kind of guy.
Yeah, the faster the better. But, the past couple times I've been to Richmond, it's actually been, a lot of fun too. So, that's quickly becoming one of my favorite racetracks as well.
Yeah, you start learning to get your way around Richmond more and more each time you get out there. I think you've gradually been getting better finishes each time, haven't you?
Yeah, experience, son, experience.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Have you ever been to Martinsville or Bristol?
I've been to both. I'm kind of upset that the Nationwide Series doesn't go to Martinsville anymore. I love around that place. You just gotta try to hang on to your equipment, make it last the whole race. I mean, you saw all the cars that were there and got all their equipment beat all to hell, but the last time I ran there was probably 06 when in the Truck Series. When I ran there last, but every time we went there, I looked forward to racing there.
Any plans to run there again?
I mean, it all, there's no telling what the future, holds for me or, our race team. So, got a lot of good things going on this weekend for the Texas race for sure. We've got a new sponsor coming on board with us for the Speedway race, and Beanbo Bakeries and all their various products that they make will be plastered all over the number 23 car this weekend here at Texas, and hope to continue that relationship with them through the next couple of races. But we've got some big news coming up for Phoenix next week. We're probably going to be attempting a Cup race with Scott Riggs and the 23 car on the Cup side. So got a lot of good things rolling, and we've gone through motorsports the next couple of weeks. So just ready to get this season over with. But it seems like we're making a lot of progress from where we started at the beginning of the year up to where we are now.
Well, it's nice that you're being able to pick up the newer sponsors, and hopefully that'll get rolling over into the next year as well.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, this sport's all about creating relationships with people and making those relationships last. And it's not just in racing; it's just in life in general. I mean, it's all about the relationships you create with people and create those friendships that last forever. You just never know where these opportunities and meetings may take you.
Have you Man, now I forgot what the hell I was going to ask you.
By the way, we didn't even do our normal thing. For those that have not met Robert Richardson before, he runs in the Nationwide Series pretty much close to full time, and he does a little bit of part-time racing in the Cup Series as well. Hey, here's a good question for you. Have you ever thought of trying to do something in the trucks?
A phone call there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he caught it. You ever thought about doing anything in the trucks?
I would love to get in a truck if an opportunity came around, but this year we've been so wrapped up in our organization and just focused on working on these new cars and updating all of our motors and everything to make our program a lot more successful than it has been in the past, that we really haven't thought about anything in the trucks. But if somebody called me and asked if I wanted to run a truck race or two, heck yeah, I'd love to do it. I think the truck series is a very well-rounded series, and Wayne Otten, the director of the series, does a very, very good job of putting on races week in and week out in the truck series. So, in my opinion, they put on some of the best racing that NASCAR has to offer.
I would agree with that.
I would have to say it's the most raw. It's the most raw kind of racing there is, from my opinion.
It is. I mean, they have such short races that they have to get after it from the initial drop of the green flag all the way to the end of the race. And there's no, like in the Cut Series, the races are so long, you're pretty much just saving your equipment the first 3 quarters of the race, and then, getting after it the last quarter, So, I mean, that's what's so fun about watching the truck races. They're getting after it, and they can beat the hell out of each other and race that way all race long and still make it to the end of the race.
Exactly.
Plus, you got new guys mixed with the old veterans that have been around a while and know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, and I think Robert will agree. It's a great stepping stone.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is. I mean, I wish they'd field 43 trucks, and I think there'd be a lot more people interested in racing in that series, but they've got it down to, I think it's 36 cars. Or
Yeah, 36.
I've seen 33.
36, yeah.
Yeah, there have been times that they don't have actually fill the whole field, but then there are some places I've seen them, the trucks show up and there's more than enough to field 43 vehicles out there. I think if they knew that they could put in more of them, there'd be more places that'd have more of them out there.
Yeah. We used to run the truck series back in '06, and I guess in 2009 we had a couple of trucks in our stable that we raced a couple of people in. But since then we've solely been focused on the Nationwide Series program and making attempts at a few Cup races as well. So really excited about this weekend, but got a lot of good things happening here towards the latter part of the season, and Phoenix is going to be a good weekend for us, and we're going to wrap it all up at Homestead the following weekend. So just ready to end this season on a positive note, and carry that and the momentum that we're building on into the 2012 season.
As of right now, is Phoenix going to be your last race?
No, I'll be at Homestead as well.
Okay.
By the way, we have one of our good news, bad news type of people on the other line with us, Robert. It's Brian Morehouse. He's one of the NASCAR officials.
Come on, don't give Brian a hard
Brian,
time.
Brian's a good guy. Brian's a really, really nice guy.
Hey, I didn't do it, Brian. Man, y'all getting hard on me, man.
No, don't even, Brian. Don't even. I'm not.
I'm not going to say y'all. I'll just say Roger.
Okay, thank you very
Go
much.
for it. That's because you still haven't let me get a chance to check out Bristol yet.
Bristol, my dog?
Yeah.
Well, he's inside now. He's chewing away on a bone.
You were supposed to bring him the last time you were out at Langley.
Well, let me see. Last time I was at Langley with the mods.
Yeah, I think you had him with the family or something.
Yeah, Melanie had him at her house down there. So, yeah, I think this week she took him for 2 weeks. She's ready to give him back. He's getting past the puppy stage. So, he's doing really good, growing, and doing real good. He's sitting here chewing away on a bone right now, so he's got a life nick.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and finish up with Robert here.
All right.
Yeah, Robert, we got Texas coming up, Phoenix, and then you are going to go to Homestead for the Nationwide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we got to plug your sponsors here, and then we're going to get you off and get Brian on here.
All right. Well, yeah, again, as always, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and anybody that's interested in keeping up our organization, feel free to go to our team's website at r3motorsports.org. I've also got a Facebook page. I keep in touch with all my fans on that, so anybody that's got Facebook would be interested in asking any questions about NASCAR racing or our team in general, just feel free to look me up on there. But I got to give a big thanks to Bimbo Bakeries and Takis and Marcel and everybody that's going to be on board with us at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. And it should be a great experience for everybody, and really looking forward to finishing out the rest of the season. And thanks again, guys, for having me on the show. Hope you all have a good night.
Okay.
No problem. I'm going to send you a picture when this beard's all the way grown.
The November beard.
Yeah, keep it digging. Try to get to like ZZ Top status.
Well, now, wait a second. Are we allowed to trim it or no shave whatsoever, right?
No shave, no trim, no nothing. You go just, go back to like the caveman days.
All right, I'm in.
They might have you on the Jack Links commercials.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of blonde. I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but I'm in on it. I'm in.
Brother. Well, you guys have a good evening. I'll let y'all go.
Thanks, Robert.
Talk to you later. I'll give you a shout later. I have some other questions for you, Robert.
All right, Roger.
All right, bye-bye.
Later.
All right, bye.
Brian, you there?
You just hung up on Brian.
Okay, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. How y'all guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Brian? Brian Morehouse,
I had to call him this time. Or he called
NASCAR
back.
official. You do the Wheel and Southern mods. You do the K&N. You do the trucks. You do Nationwide. And last weekend you were doing
Cup.
the Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, done for this year with NASCAR. Last race was Martinsville. Only three races left. Don't have to fill in for anybody, but you work in the North-South shootout this weekend over at Caraway with our mods, touring type mods. We're going to have them down there. I heard they had 24, 25 on the entry list. So
Wow.
It's a good race for the North-South shootout. It'll be the first time at Caraway. As you know, it's been normally held at Concord way, but they moved it this year, and really looking forward to it.
Being a NASCAR official, tell us what involves. I mean, I know what it is. I was an official with you, but tell us what your job title is. What do you do?
Well, on the mod, I'm the field investigator. What I basically do is during the day when we bring the cars in, as you know, cars roll through tech on the national series usually 2 or 3 times a weekend. Well, mods are only on a one-day schedule, so we usually race on a Saturday, show up on a Saturday, and race that night. So I go through the car, make sure everything's safe, make sure that the belts are in date. As you know, everything's got a 2-year date to it, from fire bottles to belts to tethers to everything, shifter boots, you name it.
Just making sure that everything's safe, make sure that everything's bolted in right, and go from there. There's a lot of times you come across things on the uniform or something out of date or something's not bolted right, and they've got to make adjustments before the race. And later on in the evening, of course, I move on over to scales and height gauges and everything else. And then around race time, I'm the guy in the red truck that'll go out on the track and make sure that everything's okay. Once the car's been in an accident, make sure that they're getting out okay, that nothing needs to be cut to get into the driver or anything else. So it's all safety. That's what that's all about. When I move on up to the K&N series, I'm usually safety, and then when I go from there to the national series, it just varies. I mean, I could be anything from pressure gauge or tire pressure to camber, wherever they need me to fill in at, scales to the Brunholzl, tread width, like that. So, and then during race time on the national series, I work pit road. So, pretty interesting. A lot of hats, a lot of travel. I think this year I think I got my calculations at 31 races this year. So,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, have a full-time job on that. And then, of course, traveling home. You saw me at Langley probably 3 or 4 times this year on my off weekend. So it was getting around town quite a bit. I got to go to Canada and actually road course. That was really very, very interesting, quite different. And it was really, I was glad I had the opportunity to be able to do that.
And you go a lot of places. I mean, we've talked about you've been coast to coast actually this year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and last year too. I've hit places that I never thought I would go. For normal business like Oregon, Iowa, Kansas, Texas, which I used to live in Texas, but I do a lot of the East Coast. All the way from Thompson, all the way on down to Florida, and then like I just said, I had the opportunity to go work nationwide up in Canada on a road course. So I've had a lot of, I've been very lucky. I've been picked to be able to go do a lot of things and learn a lot of things within NASCAR.
And knowing you, it's always fun when you go. And anybody that knows Brian Morehouse, he's just a blast. You're a blast to be around. I consider you a great friend, and it's always fun.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool because you get to make friends in different places like Kansas, and, Iowa. That actually, when we go to town nowadays, I'm sort of like, oh, I got friends I got to go see, and they're like, let's all go out. And it's sort of like, well, I got friends to go see. It's almost like keep up with everybody with Facebook, everything else. Just like when I come into town with y'all guys, y'all always make a time to go out to dinner and hang out, everything else, and it's really pretty cool. So it's like a vacation almost every weekend that I just got to work a little bit.
And you're one of the better ones on there. I actually had asked Saturday if you were there, and the guy says, well, he's not on the truck side. He's probably over there on the cup side. Mm-hmm. But they knew exactly who you were, and that's kind of a rarity.
Pretty cool because, at first I was bouncing around, from, each division and everything else. And I was sort of like, man, maybe I'm just not doing something right. But the thing that I really did enjoy was I got to meet everybody. I mean, I got to meet people on the West Coast, the East Coast, up north, down south, and all the different tracks and everything else. So it was really pretty cool. So I was just very, very lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah. So what's new in NASCAR? Do you got any good news for us?
Well, there's always news. I know you probably heard the news of today with one of the drivers that used to race in NASCAR, some of the stuff he got himself into. But, as in general news, everybody's just really talking about the chase and, trying to stay in it, the new point system and everything else. I mean, if you looked at that race Sunday, I mean, I was looking up at the board. I saw y'all guys. Of course, we had the screen right there near my pit stall. And we were watching. It was like Keselowski was up in there, and then all of a sudden at the end of the race, he almost had an accident. And, then he dropped so many more points back. So it's top 4, I think, it could just be decided between any of those guys: Harvick, Edwards, Stewart, Kozlowski, and I think Kenseth's not too far back behind them guys.
No, Kenseth is like 39 or something like that, and
Phoenix for the
Jimmy
unknown.
Johnson's still in it. How he survived it, I don't know, but he's still in it.
Yeah,
He's a long shot.
huh?
He's a long shot.
Yeah, he is, but you know, it's still good to be in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's you never know. You never know what could happen at these next 3 tracks. I mean, they're all good tracks. Some of them have got a lot of luck at these tracks, and other ones don't have too good of luck at these tracks. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this plays out in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it ought to be real good.
I think, at least the top 3 drivers, the next races are pretty much, they've all done pretty good at one point in time or another, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, you asked me, was there, you know, any new news going on? You know, of course, they're always trying to make these cars better and everything, and I've noticed every weekend, I mean, NASCAR's always looking at trying to make things better for the drivers, for the fans and everything, and one of the things I was really noticing at Martinsville this weekend was how the crowd interacted before the race. You know, do you remember years ago you couldn't even get near the cars, you couldn't even get your picture taken, you know, get down there close. NASCAR and these tracks are really working hard to get all that interacted. Like, you know, people are coming right down with these hot passes, getting to see the cars and get their pictures taken and everything else. I guess Martinsville being such a smaller track, you got to see more of it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I was on lineup this weekend, lining the cars up before the race, so I really got to see it.
You know what? I did notice that too. That it didn't seem like there was many people in there for the Cup side than it was the truck.
Yeah.
But they were very courteous and they were very open to where people were actually going.
Yeah.
And you're right. They were very open. I think NASCAR's kind of loosened the reins on that, we should say.
Yeah, and you know, it's all about the fans. I mean, I considered it was pretty packed there at Martinsville the other day, from the pits right on up into the stands. I know it was really hard getting out of there trying to get back to Charlotte. You know, it wasn't that bad compared to, you know, some of the other tracks I've heard about, but you know, it's just I think that they're doing everything they can to get the fans more involved with the sport, get them close up to the drivers and everything else, and it was really nice to see.
Yeah, it was. I got to ask you this, and you were standing on pit road. You had initially you had 2 drivers, but one dropped out, and then you ended up with Ryan Newman.
Yeah.
How many times did you get hit by a lug?
I got hit one time, but I swear I think he was trying to hit me. It was pretty weird because I had the tail end of Ryan Newman, and I don't know, you know, it just seemed like those lugs always got in the way, but I think the guy behind me did get hit. I got hit right off my shoe, which wasn't bad, but I've been hit by Trevor Bain at Charlotte with a lug nut, and it hit me close to my knee, you know, where it would really hurt.
Yeah.
Not that they mean to do that, it's just they're taking off, and that lug nut happens to be right there where they're spinning that tire,
I've always wondered
like
that
a
too.
bullet.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if I remember correctly, that was one of the things when I was over there by you, and the guys kept saying, you know, back up away from the pit wall there, just in case those things do come over and bean you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, the press really comes up on those walls a lot, and, you know, I know that people may have thought, hey, you know, tell me to get up. It's just like, I don't know where these lug nuts are going to go, or if a tire's going to come, you know, over to the side or something. So, but, you know, they make it all safe. I mean, it's just, it's really good to be down on the action like that and be able to see everything. Actually, I think y'all guys got to see just as much of it as I did. You know, I just got a little bit closer than y'all. Y'all were only probably about 10 or 12 feet from me. And it gets to see a lot, you know. And that's one of the things that's really good about those hot passes, being able to get down there and be able to.
Yeah, and it's experience. You know, you've done it, and I've done it, and Roger's done it. You know, we've all been down there. But it's something you need to experience. Probably if you're a race fan, get some hot passes. Go down and see the infield. See what it's all about.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely, I don't know how much they run, but it's well worth the money, because I tell you what, you really get down there, but you got number one thing, I'm in safety, so I'm going to preach safety to everybody. You just got to be aware of your surroundings. And, accidents are out there, and they're going to happen whether you're at work, whether you're at home, whether you're in church. It doesn't matter. It can happen anywhere. You just got to be real careful down there and enjoy every minute of it, because I know when, my family gets hot passes and they go down there, they're like, they talk more about the race than I do.
Yeah.
I'm after Charlotte, I didn't get to bed till 5 a.m. in the morning because I had a house full of people, and they were talking all about the racing, and I'm over racing by that time. I'm ready for a shower, let's go to bed. But, it was really fun, and I was really glad that they got to experience sort of like what I get to do every weekend.
And it's unique to somebody. It's unique to the outsiders.
Well, even to me, I've been around racing most of my life. That was my first time in the hot pass or in the garage area while the event's going on. A lot of tracks used to let you on after the race. Everybody's packing up. It's a totally different thing. It's cool you're down there, but you don't get to see everything. And being there firsthand, it's a lot different.
That was the most open victory lane I've ever seen.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I thought that was very cool.
Like I had said earlier in the program, I think they're trying to get the fans more involved in it. Give you that freedom a little bit to be able to get closer to them and everything else. And I really thought it was awesome. The way that the crowd and everything interacted with that, did a real good job.
Yeah, I think they did too. Well, listen, Brian, we got our next guest on the line. I'm going to let you get on out of here.
Well, I think Brian wanted to stick around for this.
Did you want to stick around for this?
What are y'all getting ready to do, guys?
You want to stick around for this?
Okay, I got about 5 minutes, so I'll stick around and see what's going on.
Okay. Our next guest is a legend. He's been around racing since... You started racing when?
1949.
1949. Tiger Tom Pistone. And, Tiger, for the people that don't know you out there, give us a little bit of a background. I know what it is, but why don't you tell us in your own words?
Well, I'm from Chicago. I raced from 1949 to 1955 at Soldiers Field in Chicago. And then I came south the end of 55, and I raced in NASCAR Grand National and the Sportsman Division from 1968. And I've won 4 Cup races and 23 Sportsman races. And I'm here, and I run a parts business, and now I'm here to stay.
and yeah, you built cars for many a years here.
In 1968 is when I quit racing. Bill France Sr. Put me in business, in car building business and the parts business. And we had a tractor and trailer. We used to go to all the races, NASCAR Cup races and Sportsman races. And Bill France Sr. helped me get my shop put together. He financed me.
And that's how you stayed in it.
That's how I stayed in it, yeah.
I'm going to jump right into this here real quick, but back in the days, and correct me if I'm wrong, you drove a Ford Thunderbird into the lake at Lake Lloyd at Daytona Beach, right?
Well, that was Tommy Irwin, and we lost him last year. Yeah, he was driving a '59 T-Bird, and he went down the lake.
Okay, I was thinking it was you that went into the water back there.
No, that's why I wore a life jacket and an aqua lung, because I can't swim.
That's right. Okay, that's what it was. Wasn't there a story about tomato juice with you two?
The tomato juice?
Yeah.
A lot of guys. Joe Weather used to play that joke on a lot of guys. Him and Jack Smith used to show us pictures of guys burning up, going over the wall. We used to sit there, waiting for qualifying at Darlington, and they used to come up with all them trick pictures, trying to scare you to death.
That seems like it wasn't nothing out of bounds with those guys back there.
Jack Smith and Joe Weatherly were terrific racers. They like to play games on the drivers, play with your mind. Like some of the drivers, what they're doing today, they're playing on your mind. Like Stewart's doing. He's playing on Carl Edwards' mind. He's playing on, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he said it. He said it right. He better not take a nap these next 3 races.
Yeah, he's getting to his head.
Yeah, he's getting right in there.
Yeah, he's tough, Carl.
How do you and Tom, you've been around this sport a long time. How do you compare the drivers of your era to now? Would they could you mix match those drivers?
Well, today the drivers they're all in shape. They you know, they're more or less on a fitness program. We weren't, and if we were in a fitness program back then, we wouldn't have quit so early. See, we all quit when we were 37, 38 years old because our bodies couldn't take it no more, and there was no money. See, we never went to the gym. We didn't know what a gym was like because we worked on our cars, we worked on our trucks, and we worked on everything else, and we figured that was our exercise. But today, you know, Mark Martin, all these guys, and David Reagan, they're fit. I mean, they are fit. You know what I mean? And they're tough.
Not like the day. Well, yeah, but you were a little bit tougher back in the days. I mean, you guys really had to manhandle them cars.
Well, you know, it's not that. You know, we had to take the heat. The heat was the biggest problem back then because we didn't have none of that fancy stuff. You know, a fan on your foot. You know,
Cool boxes.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, all that stuff. One day I was walking down the pit road with Junior Johnson, and Junior Johnson said, "Look at this. This guy's got a fan on his foot." And we couldn't believe that when we saw that, you know, with all this technology they got today. But you can't discredit these drivers today. They're tough. Believe me, they are tough.
Yeah, they definitely are. What brought you into racing? I know you started. You said you started in Chicago and Soldier Field, but what actually brought you into racing?
See, I was a fruit and vegetable. My dad was a fruit and vegetable peddler. That's what I was, a fruit and vegetable peddler in Chicago. And in them days, you got to be 21 before you start racing. And I didn't know what race cars looked like until I was 21. And Andy Granatelli had a speed shop in Chicago, Grand Corps Automotive, they called it.
Yeah.
And he was the promoter of Soldiers Field, Rockford, and Milwaukee, the dirt track.
Right.
And he promoted some races starting in 47, 48, 49, and all the way up to 55. And started. Andy Granatelli said, "Let's go racing." So Vince Ignalfa from Chicago was a buddy of mine, and he's the one that brought me out there, and we stayed, and we got the bug.
And that's all she wrote, isn't it?
That's all she wrote. Then you had this kid like Fred Lorenzen come up to me, and his mother come up to me and say, "You're our hero. We want to grow up to be like you." But he never mentioned it. He never gave you any credit.
Oh, really?
I sold him his first race car. I sold him, and then and that was in 1955. And then he came south in 1956, and then he came back in 60 with my sponsor that I had the year before, Rupert Safety Belt. He took my sponsor away from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Fred's actually an Illinois boy, isn't he?
Yep. It's a shame. He's in a resting home right now. It's a dirty shame.
Yeah, I've heard he's not doing too well.
He remembers things in the morning.
Oh, really?
Remembers things real good. Marvin Pants was over the shop day before yesterday. He told me he spent 2-3 hours with Freddie up there last week, and he remembers everything up in the morning. And then he starts going into that dimension. You know, starting about noon, 1 o'clock, he goes in that dimension where he can't remember nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you stay in contact with some of your old racing buddies?
Oh yeah, they call me quite often. Oh yeah. My biggest one was Jim Rathman. Now he's got the same thing. He's got Alzheimer's, so we're going to lose him. And Ray Fox Sr., he's about the only one that's got a common sense at 92 years old.
and he's still going pretty strong, though, isn't he?
Oh, yes, sir. 100%, they tell me. You know,
yeah.
Lena was down there, and she saw him down there. She took pictures with him. And he's 92 years old, and I'm, like I'm 82, and he's still kicking around like crazy.
Yep.
Hey, Tiger, we got a caller from Mike. His name is Mike. He's from California.
Mikey?
Yep, he wanted to know what was your most favorite race that you were in, and he also wanted to thank you and let everybody know that you helped out Stephen Kraft. You can, after you do the first answer to the question, go ahead and fill us in about Stephen.
The first question, what was that again now?
What was your favorite race that you were in?
Martinsville, Virginia, when we won that Virginia 500, because I was born on short tracks, and
when we won that race. Then, we won 3 in that year with the 59 T-Bird. We won Richmond, and we won Trenton, New Jersey, the Trenton 500. And Pedro Rodriguez and his brother was on the roof of my car, and I gave them the trophy at Trenton, New Jersey. There's a lot of good memories,
Yeah. Do you still have that grandfather clock? No, that would have been before the grandfather clock.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's been trying to get one off them. They won't give me one.
Oh, really?
Now, I did talk to Mike Smith, and I told him that there was somebody out there that had won one of the Martinsville 500s.
Right.
And I told him I was going to get back up with him after this weekend was over with. Who knows? There may still be a grandfather clock in your future.
I would cherish it. Campbell always took care of me. Always. I used to bring the parts truck up there. See, in 1966, when Ford Motor Company pulled out of racing, Clay Earls and Bill France Sr., they bought a motor from me. And we stuck it in my car, and we blew those guys off like they were parked, the Chryslers. And I had brake problems. So that made Ford Motor Company look ridiculous because I had a 2-year-old Ford, and I'm smoking these here Chryslers off. So that's when they came back racing again.
You mostly stuck with Fords too in your career, didn't you?
I stayed with the Fords all the way to the... No, not really. I started out with a Chevy, 55, 56. No, and then 57 I went to a Plymouth convertible. And then in 59 I went to the T-Bird. And then we went to the Chevrolet in 60. Then in 61 we went to the Pontiac. And in 62 we went to the Pontiac. That was the end of it.
Oh, okay. Stephen Kraft.
My daughter Chrissy, she's got cancer, and she got hooked up with this Stephen Kraft, and she really, really put the pressure on everybody, to help us. And David Reagan and Jack Roush got the decal, and they're holding it, and they took some pictures of it, but they never got a chance to put it on the car. See, we were trying to get it on the car, but we couldn't get it on the car.
Yeah.
The decal was too big.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what they told us. They said the decal was worth $1 million. Put it in the car, which is the truth. But
yeah.
Jack Roush don't do this. And we got a picture of him and David Reagan holding that decal of Stevens.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people put Jack Roush down on the cancer thing. They said that he doesn't honor that, but he does. He's a good man. A lot of people don't know that.
I've always heard good things about Jack Roush. There isn't really a car owner out there that you don't get that doesn't have a heart.
Yeah. Well, they should have.
Yeah.
They got nothing to worry about no more.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, the one that ain't got no money is the one that's on your back all the time.
Yeah, that's true too. Who was in the time you were racing? Who did you enjoy racing with the most? I've asked this.
Oh, Tiny Lund, Larry Frank, Joe Weatherly, Curtis Turner, Junior Johnson. Oh, there was a bunch of them.
Who? Okay, the flip of the coin here. Who was your worst rival?
The worst rival?
Or who did you want? The one guy you did not want to race with?
I don't think I ever had that because whenever I raced, I was always leading the race. I was too stupid to slow down. I have no better. I had no good judgment. And Ralph Moody was the biggest stroker in the United States, and he taught Fred Lorenzo how to stroke, and that's how Freddie won most of them races. See, in them days, you had to pace yourself because the equipment wasn't good enough.
Right.
Yeah, Fireball, Curtis Turner, Joe Weatherly, and Junior Johnson and myself, we were stupid. We had the pedal to the floor. We didn't know any better. We never could pace ourselves. Lee Petty was the best. I say he was the best.
Really?
In pacing yourself. You know what I mean? He had patience. We didn't have patience. We didn't know any better. I say we were stupid.
Well, you grew up on the short tracks, and up in the Midwest, they don't run these 150, 200, 300-mile races, so...
Now, see, back then, we used to start 3 abreast of Chicago, 100 cars, and the fastest qualifier goes to the rear. And that's how you learn. When you put these guys on the front like that, you ain't learning nothing. You should put them in the rear.
Exactly.
Invert the whole field.
Invert the whole field. I've said it before, Let them run heat races. Get rid of this qualifying. Let them run heat races.
Right.
Invert the whole field.
Yep, you're right. Give the people something to come to watch for. You're right 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do, but they're not going to listen. That's too much money.
What do you think about that, Brian?
What, running heat races?
Heat races and then invert the whole field.
Being a NASCAR official, that should be an insight.
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I love to see the short tracks when they run heat races. Some of the dirt tracks that we go to.
Better bring those cars back to the stock looking.
Let me tell you a real quick story before I get off. I met Tom 2, maybe 3 years ago. Tom, when you helped, was his name Daryl Krentz? You remember that?
I could hardly hear him.
Brian Morehouse is on here, and he met you a couple of years ago when you were helping Daryl Krentz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was really funny because I just...
On the modified, yep.
Yeah, in the modified. And I just started off as an official, and I found that there was some expired belts. And I told Daryl, you know, he was the car owner, and Tom came up to me. He's like, don't worry, man, we'll change them out. Everything's good. And Daryl was like, oh, we just don't have time. We don't have time. And I didn't know that was Tom Pistone. I'd heard the name. You know, I'd seen pictures of him and everything else. And I went back after Tom came up to me, and he goes, hey, we changed them all out, looked them over and everything, and he handed me some sports cards. And they were of his career. I found them up in my office upstairs, and I looked at it, and I was like, that's Tom Pistone. I went and told the officials. I was like, that's Tom Pistone over there. They're like, yeah. Don't you know him? I was like, no, but I just asked them to change their belts and everything. Come to find out, Daryl was head of Inex at the time.
Yep.
And Daryl comes over and goes, okay, you snagged me. Well, okay, but he was like, yeah, we were leaving the shop, and I forgot all about it. They expired last month. I was like, oh, okay. Nicest guy you ever meet. If you ever get a chance to meet Mr. Pistone, greatest guy you'll ever meet, but you'll always see him at different tracks. I've seen him at Bowman Gray. I've seen him everywhere, you know, and it's really neat to see jumping from, you know, modifieds to legends to everything. Always there giving somebody a helping hand, and a great guy to know. And like I said, I still got his cards upstairs on my desk and look through them every once in a while of the olden days. So interesting. Guys, y'all take care. Have a great time. I will see y'all in a couple of weeks when I'm back home in Virginia.
You got it, Brian. Give us a call.
Take care, man.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian is one of our officials up here. I was actually official with him, and just a great guy. Love having him on here.
I can hardly hear him.
Yeah, we got a little bad connection there with it, but he was talking very highly of you. He said you gave him some cards of your career, and
oh, good. I'm glad. I hope he didn't sell them.
No, he says he's still got them.
He still looks through them from time to time. Hey, we had another request here for a question. Now, Brenda, she wanted to know, did you actually wear a scuba mask as well when you were at Daytona?
I wore a life jacket, not a cool mat, a life jacket.
Okay, she was just curious if you also wore a scuba mask also.
What's that?
The goggles and for scuba diving.
Oh no, I had the aqua lung. I had just the one for your mouth and your nose. I had the tank in the car.
Oh, you did?
Oh, goodness.
I had the life jacket, and AJ Foyt ruined it for me. You know, the following race, he got the nitrogen tank, and he put nitrous oxide in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. The NASCAR caught him, so they outlawed the tanks in the car.
Oh, goodness.
Believe me, that their tank, when I was running it for the whole year, it actually helps you get rid of your carbon monoxide.
Well, yeah, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, because I was breathing that oxygen, and I never realized that it was helping me. But AJ Foyt, you know, he's got to cheat all the time.
Did you drive for AJ?
No, AJ, I've known him from the beginning. First time I ever met AJ, you know, we were buddies, and we're still buddies till today. I'm known as being a cheater, but he's the biggest one.
He's one of them, isn't he?
The big joke of the whole story of this year is I got the Smoky Unique Achievement Award, and I got it twice. I got it down in Daytona in February, and I got it from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I keep asking people. I knew Smoky Unique was an innovator and a cheater, you know what I mean? And he knew how to, you know, bend the rules. Not bend the rules. He knew how to, you know, oversize the rule more or less. You know?
Exactly.
I want to know: is that an award for a cheater, or is that an award for an innovator?
Well, I would have to say innovator at these days and age.
Oh, okay. I put on the Facebook as I'm known as a cheater.
Well, now it's only cheating if you get caught now.
Right, you're right. Smoking
Ain't cheating, ain't trying.
actually was not a cheater. I won't call him a cheater. See, back in that day, nitrous oxide, there was no rule on it. See, he was in the Army, and that's what they used in the Army, was nitrous oxide. So he brought it to the United States, and he stuck them in his race cars. And we never figured it out for years to come, later. And see, the rules, he made them himself. Just like that story, they said that Smokey drove the car home after the inspection. They pulled the fuel cell out.
Yeah.
He got mad at them, and the NASCAR took the fuel cell, and he drove the car home. Sure, he drove it home. He had a 50-foot gas line in the car. Pulled up underneath the seat. But there was no rule on that.
And yeah, it wasn't that it was illegal, but they did have a rule next year.
Yeah, the following year. Well,
yep. So
Of course.
rules come. When you start breaking them, that's when they make the new rules.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, nowadays you hear they have this, something was wrong with the car. They had an item that wasn't illegal but hadn't been approved.
Yeah.
So they get fined for it, and what happens 2 weeks later? The item is approved.
Right, you're exactly right. I just had a guy email me from Las Vegas. He said, Tom, this guy had 3 pieces of lead on his car, and it was stacked together. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
The rule book, it says you cannot stack lead. It's got to be, one piece on the frame and the other piece on the other side of the frame.
Right.
So he had the lead stacked towards the outside of the car to get some left side weight.
Right.
I asked the official, I said, what's the rule on that? He said, well, that's for safety. That's a safety rule. If we would have solved that, we said we'd have told them to take it off.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Rules, you've got to know what you're reading and how they're said.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, he said that smashed the car after the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was just trying to blow everybody's mind, but it's hurting him now because now NASCAR is checking his car completely.
Well, and there was a good point brought up about that, and yeah, it is hurting him.
Oh, yeah.
But he was so afraid the tolerances would be so close.
That's what really gets me. I've been a NASCAR. I'm not a NASCAR. I was an inspector all my life with these legend cars for 22 years.
Right.
How can you check a car for anything after the race? This is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Well, but we were at Martinsville, Tom, and there was 8 or 9 that were in there, and they were tearing them cars totally down.
Well, what does that make the inspector look like? You got post inspection.
Yep.
The cars are tested. The cars are tested before you go on the racetrack. So what does that make the officials look like?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be tested before I went to the racetrack.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Right. So there should be no inspection after the race. Now, after they qualify and it goes back in the garage area, that's different. Now, when you go through inspection and go on the racetrack, go through inspection area, then go on the racetrack, there should be no more inspection.
Exactly.
Closed.
And they go through inspection down there. They go before they go on the racetrack. They go before practice. They go before qualifying.
They're killing the sport.
Yep.
That's all they're doing. They're killing it.
I to a certain extent, I agree with you. Yeah.
Follow the leaders. What you got?
Yep.
Killing the sport.
Now, one of the things, like at our local track that I noticed that they have now started doing, like once the late models go through tech, they allow them to drop air pressure out of the tires.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Tires low.
And I'm sitting here, hold on, guys. When we went through tech and late models,
You had to have it set.
you had everything set. You couldn't touch the car, and basically you pulled through tech and you went out there and sat in line to go qualify, and the only thing you could do is maybe one of the guys talk to you while you're waiting. But you stayed in the car and you didn't do anything.
Well, what they should allow it, if the guy goes out there and checks the air pressure, you got to make sure it don't go below like Goodyear does. It doesn't go below that point.
Yep.
And that's why NASCAR checks it. They check the air pressure, what Goodyear tells you, but you can't lower it on pit road. You got to raise it on pit road.
Yep.
And that's the way it should be with late models.
Yep.
Give them a certain amount that they can't go below after they go through inspection. There's a lot of ways to do it, but you got to let these kids race. Let them body slam each other. Jesus, let them fight it out by themselves. What you guys got to do is go get that Andy Granatelli book, Mr. 500. You guys got to go read that book.
Yeah, that's one thing. I've read Smokey Yunick's books, Best Damn Garage in Town.
Now, you got to read Andy Granatelli's. He was the smartest promoter of all. He staged his races. He had 5 guys on the payroll. He had 5 booger artists, and he told you when you could win the race. And the white flag was the winner for 5 years. White flag. You did not take the checker flag. If you took the checker flag, he'd throw you out the racetrack.
Really?
He staged his races. He made them. You know what I mean? He had backup races. He had horse races. He had elephant races. He had ostriches races. I rode one of them ostriches.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I mean? And today, the guys ain't doing that. You got to put a show on for these people. You got to do it. And just like they said, put a boxing ring out there. That wouldn't work for me because I'm a small guy. You know what I mean? So I used to tell the guys before the race, we're all the same size in that car, so don't mess with me at racetrack. Follow me?
Oh, yeah. Well, Tony Stewart brought something up, and I kind of got to agree to him with a certain extent, and he said it Sunday after the race. This boys have at it is okay, but these guys are starting to tear up too many cars. You need to bring a portable boxing ring and set it in the front stretch, and anybody that's got a gripe on the track, let them take care of it after the race.
Yeah, that's Humpy Wheeler's setup. That's what he had at the racetrack at Charlotte. He had a boxing ring up front there. Now, these guys, let them fight it out on the racetrack. You know what I mean? Just like Brian Vickers did. God bless that boy. He did what he wanted to do. He got even. You know, I text Matt Kenton before the race and told him, I said, today is going to be payback day. I said, watch the inside of you and watch your mirror. I said, because they're going to pay back. Everybody that hates each other is going to do it at Martinsville because that's where they get away with it.
And that's where they did.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And the people loved it.
Oh, yeah. Dale Earnhardt Jr. made the comment, if we ran more short tracks, I'd be considered a rough driver.
Dirty driver, yeah.
Well, I don't want to knock these drivers today. I heard a couple of comments. Oh, he cut me off. Oh, he put me into the infield. Oh, he did this. If I was driving that car, I'd turn head on and go head on with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a short track. What else are you going to do?
I mean, yeah, if somebody's going to cut you off, hey, that's what the front bumper is for. Turn them around and keep on getting it.
Turn them and go.
That's right.
Knock him out of the way.
You know,
he'll only do it a couple of times.
There's too many crybabies out there today.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. To a certain extent, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard to find a true driver.
You know what you got to worry about? And I tell all the guys, you never have to worry about a guy that comes up to you yelling. You got to worry about that guy who's quiet and he swings.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's the one you got to worry about. When you see a guy coming up to you yelling at you, pointing your finger out, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen.
It's the guy that doesn't say a word and just walks up and knocks the hell out of you.
Yeah. I hung around with Tanya Lund and Larry Frank. They used to protect me.
Oh, Tiny?
Oh, Tiny and Larry Frank.
Jeez.
Larry Frank was the toughest man in NASCAR. He was an Indian, and I mean he was tough. There was nobody messed with him. Can I tell you a little story about him and Joe Weatherly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, at Darlington, Joe Weatherly spun Larry Frank out. So after the race, Larry Frank was chasing Joe Weatherly, and Joe Weatherly was in the parking lot going from rooftop to rooftop and running away from Larry Frank because he knew Larry Frank would have, beat the living daylights out of him. Joe Weatherly got away from him. The next day, he walks up to Larry real quietly and he says, "Hey, Pop, you couldn't catch me, huh?" Got Larry laughing. You know what I mean?
I've always heard that they might fight, but the next day they're back to being best friends.
Yeah, back in them days. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And all the guys were good in them days. You had to worry. Buck Baker was a fearless one. He's the one. He hated everybody. Buck Baker. He did.
Really?
Oh, he was fierce. He was fierce, and he hated Yankees.
Oh, really?
When I first met Buck Baker was at Hickory, North Carolina in 1955, and I put him over the wall.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
That's a hell of a way to meet somebody.
That's a nice intro.
Nice. Guys. Baker, and I didn't know who he was. I found out later who he was.
Oops.
And then I met this guy, Buck Brigance. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a solder steel radiator specialty company.
I've heard the name.
So see, Buck Brigance, he was in my way at Hickory too. I spun him out, and he chased me on the racetrack with a lug wrench.
Oh, really?
I drove my car on the racetrack after the race.
Jeez.
So that's the truth. Buck Brigance was nuts.
That's awesome.
These different stories you could hear.
I've heard some great. I'm from Iowa, so I know the Tiny Lund history, and there's always all kinds of stories about him.
Ramo Stout, Don White.
Yep.
Yeah, I know them all.
Yep. Dick and Ronnie Hutcherson.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. You're right. They were all good boys too. But
yep.
They didn't stay down here very much. Don White, he went back home. He would have been the superstar, Don White, if he would have stayed down there.
Yeah.
He didn't stay. He went. And so did Ron Hutchison. He didn't stay either. And a lot of those guys, they came and left,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Ramo Stott didn't.
Yeah, Ramo Stout.
He was a good driver. He came down and then went right back up.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
So.
Guys did that. They just didn't want to make the move. Parnelli Jones was the same way. He didn't want to make the move either.
No.
That's the way. It's a shame,
Because there was a lot of talent. A lot of talent came out of the Midwest, Illinois.
They
You
come down here in '55, and all them guys followed me. Dave Marcus, most of the guys from up north, they followed me down here.
What made you decide to come down? I mean, I know it was because of NASCAR, but what really made you decide to give it a wholehearted shot?
Well, see, in '55, Soldiers Field went NASCAR. In '55, so they said if I won the championship that year, I have to graduate, and I had to go NASCAR down south, and that's what happened. I won the title that year, and at the end of the year of '55, I came down here with Jim Rathman's car, with Anthony Basura was the crew chief.
Right.
See, Jim Rathman had a car from USAC, and we made the first race with that car. And the big history of that car was when we first came down here, we stopped at this Golden Esso station in Winston-Salem.
Right.
And I didn't know Bill France Sr. and Judge Elvin Hawkins owned that station. And we stopped at it to find some directions. And I asked this big, tall guy when he come out, I said, so where's Martinsville, Virginia? He asked us, where are you headed? I said, we're headed for Martinsville, Virginia. He said, that race ran last week, he told me. So we were a week late.
Oh, Lord.
Oops.
So then we went to Hickory, and we finished pretty good. We finished in top 5, and Bruner, John Bruner was a NASCAR inspector, and he said after the race, he said, if I could find one thing legal on this car, I'm going to pass it. And it never happened. We got disqualified. The record book.
Can't find one thing legal. That's pretty bad.
Oops.
It was so illegal. They didn't know what hit them when they saw that car.
Well, it was USAC. You different set of rules then.
There was no.
Yeah.
No rules.
That's funny.
No rules at all. None whatsoever. The car was completely adjustable from one end to the other.
Really?
They couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Chevrolet racing division in '57 in Georgia there, and he called me down there, and we started building some cars, and we built some fast cars we built. And there was no weight rule in them days, no weight rule at all. So we built this Chevrolet, and Rex Wright was the only one that wanted the same car I had. Jack Smith, Buck Baker, Speedy Thompson, and all them guys didn't like the car. They said, well, we don't want that piece of junk to what you're building. So we went to Martinsville, Rex White and I, and Ford Motor Company's out there practicing all week long. We went to Manassas, Virginia.
Yep.
Was our first race. And I sat in the pole, and Rex White sat outside pole. Rex won the race, and I finished second. Ford Motor Company confiscated our car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they couldn't believe it. They were practicing all week down there, and we smoked them off like they were parked.
Was Manassas dirt then?
No, asphalt. It was asphalt. All that. So we had aluminum roll bars in the car. It was completely illegal. It was no rules. There was no rules then. You know,
Yeah, you can do whatever you want then.
I'll be darned.
the aluminum roll bars in his car, that '57 Oldsmobile.
Right.
And that's the car that Bobby Myers got killed in at Darlington.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the car flipped on the side, and I think Bonnie Flock hit the roof and collapsed the roll bars, and then NASCAR outlawed
Yeah.
roll bars.
Have you now? We've got a little local track here, and I don't know. I'm going to ask you: have you ever been up to Langley Speedway?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to run it?
No, we run legend cars. That's all.
Yeah, I knew you had been come up for the Legends.
I quit in '68. I quit in Beltsville, Maryland. I used to run.
Beltsville.
Yeah, and Manassas, Virginia. What else is up there?
Martinsville, South Boston.
South Boston. Yeah, yeah. There wasn't too many tracks up there. Cumberland, Maryland. We ran Cumberland, Maryland.
Cumberland Gap. Yeah.
We ran there. See, Tanya and I, we took our cup car and ran. We made a sportsman car out of it. We just changed the headlights.
Right.
And we just changed our taillights. Ralph Earnhardt didn't like that. You know, we were at Columbia Speedway one night, and Ralph Earnhardt told the officials, "Look, that's a '64 Ford. That's not no '63 Ford." And he went out there and knocked the taillights off it. He was pretty mad at us. Did that.
Lord.
Oh, there were some good stories. Good stories.
Oh yeah, and we're probably outdoing our welcome here because we're quite a bit over.
Well, I have another question.
Go ahead. Let's ask
I
him.
believe it was Brenda out in California. She wants to know what's your most memorable recent thing about racing.
Most memorable of what though?
She didn't quite say that. It was just basically the most memorable thing you've had about racing lately.
Current racing?
Possibly somebody you've helped or...
Oh, Harry Gant. Well, we won over 200 sportsman races with Harry Gant.
That'd be a good one.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's driving the cars that we built.
Now, what about with the Legends and the Bandoleros that you work with? What do you think about the big race that they have in Charlotte now?
What do you call that? The summer shootout.
Right.
You're right.
I took care of Bruton Smith's grandson and Mike Joyce's son in the Bandoleros. I took care of for 2 years. We did pretty good with them. The Bandoleros is the best thing that ever happened for young kids at 8 years old and up. They're better than go-karts. They're a lot safer.
Well, I agree with that. I actually, when the Bandoleros first came out, I got to run one, and we ran a Southside Speedway, and we ran in Langley.
Right.
And, man, I'll tell you what, them little Bandoleros are a lot of fun.
Right. You're darn right they are. You're darn right. It's good racing. It's clean racing.
Yeah.
And it's got good rules.
Yep.
And the legend cars, you can't beat them. You cannot beat them. Look at all the superstars in NASCAR. They come from legend racing.
Exactly.
Reed Sorensen, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, David Reagan, Joey Logano. You could keep on going. I forgot the guys. It's
Reagan Smith.
Yeah, Reagan Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. And Gresham. Then you got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, Max Gresham, and you got a bunch of guys coming out of Legends.
Oh yeah, Wallace Jr. You got a whole bunch.
Yeah, Darrell Wallace Jr.
Learn car control.
So, oh yeah, you're gonna learn car control with them cars. I drove them for 3 years. I know you're gonna learn car control.
Yep.
Kurt Busch told me the other day that he learned more with the legend car on the road course.
Yeah.
He learned throttle response and shifting.
Yep.
And that shocked me when he told me that because my grandkids didn't like the road course.
Oh really?
Yeah, they don't run the road course at all.
Now, did you run road courses back in the day?
Riverside.
Riverside?
Yeah, a couple of them, just a couple. Watkins Glen. I didn't like them either. Turning left.
Going on.
Too much turning right for you, huh? I tell you what, we had for a while here, we were trying to set up to where the late models here at Langley were going to try to do a road course in Hampton.
Oh.
Huh?
And but it never came through. It would have been really fun, I think, because I would love to try a road course myself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we got some coming up in December. I mean January now. We got 5 road courses in Charlotte, the legend races.
Oh really?
And the Bandoleros. It's in January, first week of January. The road course.
So now you're still staying busy in the racing world?
Yeah. considering taking the consultant job with U.S. Legends. I was supposed to meet with Don Hawk today, and I didn't get a chance to go. I really consider taking that.
Yeah, he does a lot of consulting for a lot of different teams as it is now. Helps set up the cars. Him and his daughter have the Pistone race car and parts that they have.
You were kind of a TV celebrity here not too long ago. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
What, the American Pickers?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know them guys had $7,000.
I missed that one.
They told me they had a budget and they didn't have too much money. I got them for $4,800, and then after it was all over, they told me they had $2,200 left. And I said, "What did you say?"
Wait a minute.
They went over to Humphrey's place, and they went over to Billy Bishop's shop.
Right.
And they spent the rest of it. But those are two good guys, I'm telling you. And I think that's really, really helped me on my business, because it's been on TV quite a few times so far.
Yeah.
I need to see that one. I have yet to see
Yeah,
that.
I've seen it. That was pretty interesting. Sold some A-arms, or not some A-arms, some spindles off of...
Camber spindles and Cale Yarborough's championship nose off the Oldsmobile, and Ty Scott's seat.
Yep.
Wow. Huh.
You got the Turtle Man coming up next week. You ever see that picture, Turtle Man, on TV?
Uh-uh.
Never heard of it?
No, I don't think so.
It's going to come up, I think, November or December. Let's see, November 6th. It's going to be on the History Channel.
Okay.
And he's got a turtle, and he named it after me, Tiger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So he came over to David Reagan's the early part of this year, and he went into David's pond, and he found a big turtle there, too. I thought the guy was a fake, but he's not a fake.
Oh, really?
Well, Anderson Cooper had him on the show last week, talking about the Turtle Man. He's going to follow him.
Oh, really? That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, he's going to follow him.
So,
just remember, a Turtle Man. It's on the History Channel.
I'll have to check that out. I like watching the History Channel.
Right, the guy's good. He's real good.
I tell you what, talking about the History Channel, I would love to be able to go to people like Tiger and just to be able to sit down and talk with them and do just like basically what we're doing here, except having it on video.
Right.
And it would be really great. And then, just get more and more people together and just do a large collection.
See, I had that show, Racing Now and Then, and it was terrific. I'm not going to lie to you. It was terrific. See, when I told the Sirius Speed Channel, why don't they put one of us guys on with those young guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be a now and then for sure.
You could ask this question, Tom. What would you done? When the Vickers hit that guy, what would you done, Tom? You got a different comment. You follow me?
Yeah.
Right now, they're talking about the same old thing every night. They don't bring none of the old past in. They don't bring none of it in there.
Every now and then you'll hear Darrell Waltrip do it.
Yeah, very seldom.
But very seldom.
There at the beginning, he wasn't bad there in the 50s.
No, that's right. But he does have a past racing career. I think my favorite was Buddy Baker.
Oh, Buddy, a lot of people can't take his voice. He's got to change the pitch of his voice.
Yeah, you're right. I've heard that before.
He won his first. Can you imagine Buddy Baker in my 1959 T-Bird?
That would be hard pressed to.
Can you picture that? 1959 at Hillsborough, North Carolina. They had a father and son race. Lee Petty, Richard Petty, Buck Baker, and Buddy Baker. It's a father and son.
Right.
I mean, it was big. It was really big. And Buddy didn't have a ride. So I put him in my T-Bird. And he won the race. He beat all three of them.
Oh, really?
Wow. He beat all three of them. He beat. Yeah.
And he was a big guy, too. He's actually a pretty tall guy.
Yeah, his knees was above the dash.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah. Well, maybe one of these days they'll put, one of the legends on the show so they could talk.
Well, that would be great. That's what they need to do. They need to remember the past.
Vinny Parsons.
Yeah.
Buddy Baker doing the announcers.
So.
It's not the same without one of them.
Tiger, let's let you go. I want to thank you for joining us, and we're going to get you on here soon. We'll get a couple of y'all older guys on here, and I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Okay, guy.
All right. You take care.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
He's the type that.
Oh, Tiger would have more stories than you could handle.
Yeah,
he probably
I forgot about the life suit and the oxygen tank for Daytona. I slam forgot about that one.
That's awesome.
I mean, he has so many stories to tell, and I mean, like I said, it would be great to sit down with him and a couple other guys. And just do like some of the other ones have done before the Legends of NASCAR and sit down and have a good old BS session.
Yep.
Well, they had several years ago, the 50th anniversary, they had the Legends all sit down, and that was one of the best things I've ever seen.
But there's
the tapes of it. But
see, I need to get that from you.
There's so many more other legends out there, though.
Oh yeah,
God,
that's
yeah.
just
That you know, it's like Pistone was talking about, and you know, to get Fred Lorenz, and if he was in better shape, get him and AJ Foyt, and
AJ, here's some of his stories.
And Buddy Baker, Buck Baker, Mario Andretti, and guys like that. That would be a blast.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to sit down and talk to them. Well, even Brian, we got to be telling stories.
Oh yeah.
Saturday, and just guys like that. It's fun to sit down and shoot.
Now
the
here's
shit.
the scary part. You're getting up in years. You're going to be legendary material. I'm already.
Brian's not that. I didn't realize he's that young.
Already, so what can I say?
Yeah,
I'm not that big of a racer, but I can tell some stories.
We've all got some stories. Let me tell you. So, all right, let's get out of here.
I'd like to thank everybody for watching Let's Talk Racing tonight, and we will see you next week. See ya! Ta-da! There it is. Holy crap. There she is.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear Butler Built Seats, Bell Helmets, Hooker Harness Seatbelts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, drive 42 car, on the thing, Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.